What's the crack, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Cards Everywhere here, bring you another weekly league deck profile. I've gone with the Unruly Rulers this week. It's a fairly decent deck and has gotten me fairly high in the leaderboard so far. So I'll give you a quick rundown of the deck and we'll jump into a game. So first up we have Corgi. On the return, your dogs and Unruly Rulers cards, wherever they are, gain 18 power until played. Next we have the Mythic El Dorado. On the play, gain 4 energy for 3 turns. Helps us go into the late game a little bit. Next we have Chess. On the play, the card opposite this loses 36 power this turn, and your Unruly Rulers cards, wherever they are, gain 12 power until played. Next we have Ragnar Lodbrok. On the play, your Unruly Rulers cards, wherever they are, gain 25 power until played. And then on the return, your opponent's Roman Empire cards, wherever they are, lose 20 power this round. Next we have Bonnie and Clyde. On the draw, all cards in your opponent's hand lose 4 power permanently, and this card gains 20 power permanently. And then if you're losing the round, repeat this effect. Next we have Library of Alexandria. On the play, your history and science cards in hand gain 38 power this turn. And then on the return, this card loses 40 power until played. Next we have Ludwig. On the play, if played next to any History of Heartbreak card, your history cards, wherever they are, gain 18 power until played. Next up we have Charles Ponzi. On the draw, your cards in hand gain 50 power this turn. And then at the start of a turn, your cards in hand lose 10 power until played. So we gotta play this guy when we draw him. Then we have the Unruly Rulers cards. The first one is Charlemagne. On the draw, if your deck has 3 or more Unruly Rulers cards, your cards, wherever they are, gain 6 power permanently. Next up is Queen Ravaslonia. On the return, your Unruly Rulers cards, wherever they are, cost -2 energy for 2 turns. Oh, we'll undo that. Next we have Androcnus. On the play, your cards in hand gain 21 power for 9 turns. And then on the draw, if it's after round 3, your cards, wherever they are, lose 10 power permanently. Then we have Uzziah. On the play, if your deck has exactly 10 Unruly Rulers cards, give them, wherever they are, 12 power until played. Next is Philip the Handsome. On the return, this card loses 25 power permanently, and your Joanna of Castile card, wherever it is, gains 75 power until played. Next we have Emperor Norton. On the draw, your opponent's cards in hand lose 5 power this turn, and this card gains 35 power this turn. Next is Joanna of Castile. On the return, if you are winning the round, gain 13 power permanently. Next up is Richard III of England. On the draw, a random card in your hand loses 25 power permanently. 2 of your opponent's cards in hand lose 25 power permanently. And your Unruly Rulers cards, wherever they are, gain 16 power until played. Second to last, we have Weinklaus. On the play, if it's before round 4, this card gains 35 power permanently. And last we have Ivan the Terrible. On the play, your Unruly Rulers cards in hand gain 30 power this turn. So guys, that is the deck. We'll jump into a game. It's been doing fairly well for me so far. I would say about a 60 or 70% win rate. Some of the big decks can hit you too hard in the first 3 rounds. But if you can win one of those rounds, usually you can beat them on the energy. So here we go. We have found a real opponent. So we will say hello and see what we're working with. So it is a paleontology deck. So we'll go with the Eldorado, Ragnar, and I suppose the Queen, just to maximize our energy in the early game. So hopefully we can go into the late game. Sometimes this deck can run out of energy on round 5, so you just have to be a little bit careful. So I think we will try to maximize our energy by just playing the Unruly Rulers cards and see if we can catch up. The opponent does have the Bunyip and the Dodo, so his energy is fairly good, so he won't have to worry too much. There is our Philip the Handsome. We'll go with the Bonnie and Clyde and the Ludwig for a 264. Unfortunately, it is not enough to win this first round, but that's okay. We'll get the Arena bonus for Corgi next round and see if we can make a comeback. So here we go into round 2. So I think I'll go with the Andro, Charlemagne and the Corgi for a 405 start. So we're just 2 behind the opponent here. We should be drawing our Ponzi fairly soon. Just not quite yet. So we get the Wineklaus around with the Chess and the Emperor for a 483. So that is enough to pull slightly ahead here in round 2. Unfortunately, round 3 is the Paleontology Arena, so we'll just have to wait and see what happens here. So go with the Eldorado, the Charles Ponzi, and the Library just to try and make sure we win this round. So thankfully we were able to win the round and the turn, so the Mapusaurus doesn't get the full effect. And here we go into round 3. Suppose we'll go with the Ragnar, the Queen and the Richard to get the permanent effects around faster. So we're able to stay ahead here in this first turn of the round. The opponent certainly has plenty of energy reduction in his deck. So we'll go with the Uzziah, the Ivan and the Philip, just to maximize the Philip and Joanna combo. So we're able to maintain our lead here, and hopefully Joanna will be enough to finish out round 3 here. So I think we'll go with the Charlemagne, or the Andro, the Charlemagne and the Joanna for a 673. That is enough to finish out round 3 here. Oh, it looks like the opponent has quit. So since that was a short match, we'll jump into another one. Hopefully we can find a real opponent again. So I've been seeing a bit of variation this week. Some going on around decks seem to be fairly good this week. Other than that, some big stuff decks using space cards and reducing the energy of them. Well, here we go. Another game. So we'll say hello. So it's some sort of science deck. We'll have to wait and see what it is. But I think I'll get around my permanent cards and the Corgi to set that up for round 3. So it's a fairly weak starting hand, but that's okay. So what are we against? Not quite sure yet. Maybe a Pioneers of Science deck. So let's see what we draw here. There is our Wineklaus. We get that around with our Chess and the Queen for a 306. And start the energy reduction going on for the Queen. So still not quite sure what we are playing against. Looks to be a Pioneers of Science deck with some supporting cards. So we'll go with our Emperor Norton, the Philip the Handsome, and the Charles Ponty for a 461 and see if that's enough to win this first round. See what the opponent has here. Or perhaps it is a Mega Mat deck instead. But we're able to pull ahead here in the first round. So here we go into round 2. Let's hope we can keep up. So I think I'll get the Joanna round with the Ragnar and the Library, I think, for a 255. And we'll save the Ivan for round 3, I think. So 455 start. The opponent had a big enough turn, so he's not too far behind here. And we get our 13 permanent boost for the rest of the game. So he must have drawn the power of 0, which helps us out a little bit, so I don't mind that too much. I think I'll save the Andro and go with the Bonnie and Clyde Ludwig combo. So that will put us in the lead, but we do have Ivan and Andro, so I'm not too worried. I think we can come back here in this final turn of the round. So I think I'll go with the Uzziah, the Andro, and the Ivan for a 601. I think that will be enough to win this round. And it looks like it was. The opponent does have the Mecha. I've toyed around with it, but I think the permanent increase in energy is a bit too much of an effect. If they reduced it to until... If it wasn't permanent, if it was just until played, I think it would be much better. But here we go here into round 3. We get the Wineklaus out with the Corgi. And I think the Charlemagne as well. For a 479. That is enough to get the lead here in the first turn. And we get our Corgi boost. But I think I will be playing some of our weaker cards this round. So we'll go with the Chess, the Queen, and the Emperor for a 446. And we'll try and hit him hard next round. Although next round he does have the arena advantage. So he pulls ahead here. But that is okay. So we'll just play some of our supporting cards here. We get the Charles, the Ragnar, and the Philip around to boost the Joanna for next round. Or did we... Looks like we had enough to finish out there. I wasn't really expecting that, but we'll say good game. And sure, we'll jump into one more. Hopefully we can get a quick one. And we'll see what happens. So we'll try and get one more quick game. And we'll leave it at that. Hopefully we don't get a bot. But we'll see what happens. So what decks are you guys playing this week? I've seen quite a bit of variation. Some cephalopods. I haven't seen anyone try out a pure dog deck. I haven't really tested around myself. I'm also interested in that new Dragons card. I'm just a little concerned about it being overpowered in the Paleontology album. It is already quite strong in its own right. But we'll see what happens. Although I do think it should have some sort of interaction with the Fearsome Flyers. So here we go. We've found an opponent. I'm not sure if that's a bot or not. We'll say hello and see what happens. But we got the Bonnie and Clyde straight away with the Corgi, so we get them around for a 294. So we're against a prominent painter deck. I think we should have no problem against this. So we pull ahead here in the first round. We get our Eldorado, Ragnar, and I suppose the Uzziah round for a 303. Plenty enough to stay ahead for now. And we'll play some powerful cards here this turn just to assure the victory. So I think we get the Wine Klaus, the Philip, and the Library out for a 470. And that is enough to finish out round one. So we'll just try and blast through the next two rounds. And we'll call it quits there. So there is the Ponzi. So I think I'll go with the Ponzi, Joanna, and the chess for now. For a 474. And we should have some good Unruly Rulers cards lined up here. And we have the Arena bonus as well. I might hold on to the Ivan the Terrible for round 3. Let's see what happens here. Yes, I think I would like to rotate these around. I have to play the Emperor, so we'll go with that for a 589. Well enough to stay ahead here. And it doesn't particularly matter what we play here, so we play some of our weaker cards. So go Charlemagne, the Ludwig, and the Bonnie for a 345. And we'll see if we can pull out a victory here in round 3. So, nice, easy victory here in the first 2 rounds. So as you can see, the deck certainly has some power behind it. So we'll go with some of our boosting cards, and then we'll play the Queen with the Ivan. And we'll go for the big numbers here this round. So we're quite a bit behind here in round 3, but I'm not too concerned. I think we can well come back from this. I think we go Ludwig, Library, and Wine Klaus for a 612. A big hand from the opponent. But I still think with the Uzziah and the Ivan, we'll be able to pull out victory here. So, or should we hold back? I might actually just play a weaker hand here and we'll go with the Joanna next round. I think the Joanna Ivan combo at the very beginning here will be enough to pull through here. So we'll go Joanna, Ivan and the Andrew for a 6.95 start. That will put us well ahead. And we'll get another permanent boost from Joanna. And we'll just play our strongest cards here from now on. So I don't know if the chess is worth playing. I think I'll play just the Charlemagne. So with a dirty 500 point lead, I think we will be just fine here. So we'll go Bonnie and Clyde, the Ludwig and the Ragnar, I think, for a 2.99 plus the boosts. And that is enough to finish out this round. So I think I'll leave it there, folks. I hope you did enjoy. Don't forget to let me know what you think then in the comments. And I'll catch you again next time. Cards everywhere, out.